White Castle Adventure. Yeah, kinda like the movie. This will be pretty long. Sorry, but this night was full of weird encounters, and all of them together make for a crazy story. So my friends and I go out to the movies on a Friday or Saturday night. We saw Hostel 2, so that shows you this was a few years back. Now, we live in a city that has crystal. I read a while back that there seems to be an imaginary line where there are no more white castles as you go further south, and Crystal takes the slot of mini burger food. My friends suggest, hey, let's go up to that place and eat at White Castle. We can have our own Harold and Kumar adventure. The city we would need to go to is about 3 hours away, so we would have a nice drive to go get some burgers, especially since it's already nighttime. Everyone declines except me. One friend even said, I have a bad vibe from watching that movie. I'm just going to go home. So we roll out on our adventure, listening to music and laughing and whatnot. The ride up there is uneventful. We arrive at White Castle, which is right off the interstate. It's early morning, and we pull in the drive-thru. There's a decent line, especially for how late it is, but we're just ready to chow down. The first weird event is gearing up to go. These two guys walk past us to the drive-thru window. We couldn't hear what was going on, but they were apparently trying to order. The drive-thru doesn't accept walk-ups, but these guys wouldn't go away, which is pissing off everyone in the line. There's a 4-door sedan in front of us loaded down, Camry maybe. All of a sudden the doors open, 4 or 5 huge guys pile out and walk up to the douchebags holding up the line. They start pushing the guys. My friend and I are like, what's happening? We pull out a line and roll out. We figure we go down the street to a gas station and ask where another White Castle is. The gas station attendant doesn't know where another one is, so we go back to the original, hoping the situation has calmed down. We get up to the window this time without any incident and ask what happened earlier while we're waiting for our food. They tell us they are not allowed to accept walk-ups, and the guys wouldn't leave, so the car full of bouncers got fed up and shoved them until they walked off. We got our 20 burgers, 4 sides, and 2 drinks combo, pulled into a spot, and started eating on one of the outside tables. While we're chowing down, a homeless, druggy-looking lady walks up and starts mumbling to us about being hungry. I'm more of a burger than fry person, so I told her she can have my fries. She tells me, I don't like fries. Me and my friend look at each other dumbfounded that this person turns down free food that she asked for. I'm kinda mad she refused me, so I resolve she'll definitely not get one of my burgers. My friend offers her a burger and she scarfs it down in 2 bites. She stands there and asks for another. We tell her sorry, she isn't getting another burger, and she walks off. We are still eating food when this frat-looking guy walks up. On the ride home, we talk about how crazy it was that people were sneaking up on us because we were in a well-lit area. Apparently, the city is full of ninjas, so this guy tells us that he has just gotten out of jail at 2 a.m., and he knows some people who live on a certain street. And do we know the directions to that street? We tell him that we don't live here, but maybe he can ask the drive-thru people. Just don't try to order any food because we already saw what can happen with that mistake. He walks up to the drive-thru and walks off. We finish eating and jump back in the car, ready to be in a place where people can't sneak up on us. This is before I read of instances of people hiding in back seats on here. We are on the long drive home, and now the sun is up. At one point, I look over at the oncoming side of the interstate, which is separated by a grass median. I see an 18-wheeler coming around a right turn curve for him. The truck is starting to go perpendicular to its own trailer, and the driver's side wheel starts to lift off the road. The other tire starts smoking and skidding. I'm about to witness a bad wreck when the driver whips the truck around to his left. It straightens back in line with the trailer, all the wheels come down, and the truck goes on like nothing happened. I'm sitting there with my mouth open, wondering if I was hallucinating. It was so bizarre because our windows were down, but during the whole event, I didn't hear any tire squealing noise, and it seemed like the whole thing happened in slow motion. I turned to my friend and asked if he saw what I saw, and he says he did. We talk about how this whole night has been crazy, and I suggest that we should pull off the road and take a nap. We have been up all day and night, and I'm feeling weird without sleep, and we still have a ways to go. We pull off a no-name intersection and pull into a parking lot by the interstate. I don't even remember if there was a business there or if it was the parking lot of something that used to be there. I lean back to my seat and start to fall asleep. My friend had a pretty loud exhaust on his car, and I woke up to it starting. I'm groggy, and I ask him why we are leaving because it felt like I just fell asleep. He says that as he was trying to fall asleep, a middle-aged redneck-looking guy pulled in the parking lot in a big truck and started circling our car, staring at us. He wasn't having any of that, so we finished the trip home. Sorry this was so long, and this is my first post. Love the subreddit. Was almost trafficked. When I was a freshman in high school, in 2011, I was 15 years old. I had this little group of friends from middle school that I hung out with. We were all girls, and there were 4 of us. So, every Friday, the mom of one of my friends would pick us up, and we would go get frozen yogurt and then go to the mall, where my friend's mom would set us loose and tell us to meet her back at the central part of the mall around 5 or 6 p.m. So, this incident occurred on this one Friday. We were all walking around and shopping, minding our business, looking at stuff, just enjoying our lives. And we decided to get food at the food court. Normally, we wouldn't split up, but the other 3 girls wanted Carl's Jr., and I wanted Panda Express. Being a kind of strong-willed person, I was always the kind of person that always had my own decisions going on, so I didn't want to just follow the group like most high school people, and I wanted to do my own thing. So I told them I would meet them at our table, and I went to the other side of the food court to get my food, my Panda Express. After I got my food, I was grabbing chopsticks and napkins and other stuff when this older man, maybe in his 40s, walks up to me. He was fairly well groomed and was wearing a suit. Nothing seemed to be wrong about him. There was no red flags raised at this point. He asked me how old I was, so I told him I was 15. He said that was perfect because he was from a modeling agency and they were looking for girls my age to be models for a junior's clothing line. My naive self was actually really excited, so he gave me this card about the size of a postcard that had all the agency information on it and stuff like that. I think I ended up leaving it on the table after I ate, and I pretty much forgot about it by the time I got home. The same sort of thing happened a few other times I went to the mall with friends. Fast forward about 5 years to April 2016. I had completely forgotten about this incident at this point. It just wasn't even a thing in my mind. In one of my particular college classes, we had a speaker come in who was an organization dedicated to stopping sex trafficking. I live in a city that's the second highest in the country or something for sex trafficking, so it was fitting. Anyways, this woman was talking about different ways that traffickers will lure young girls and boys into going with them and getting into the trade. Something she said struck me, so I stayed after class. And I told her the story I just told you. She said, they knew about this tactic, and I got in reports of it happening at the same mall I used to go to every week. She said it was very likely that the man who approached me was looking to get me into the trade. So, creepy fake agent dude, let's not meet again. Don't go to a McDonald's a mile off the interstate. First time post, so forgive me if my storytelling isn't too great. Let's begin. My best friend Liz and I went to a Six Flags in Atlanta for her birthday, along with her sister, Marie, and their mom, Lena. We had a great time, but didn't exactly want to spend all of our money on the expensive food the park had. So, at around midnight, we leave the park and look for the nearest McDonald's. You would think a McDonald's in this day and age would be an easy find, but we drove about 30 minutes before we saw a sign for one. McDonald's, 1 mile to the right. We drive to the McDonald's in order. We could already tell we weren't in the best part of town. The McDonald's was not up to date, nor was there anyone there or in the surrounding parking lots. Either way, we were hungry and didn't care. Once we got our food, we pulled up to a spot to distribute the food between us. I will point out here that Lena's window was down. So Lena, Marie, and Liz were arguing about who got what food, and I'm looking out the window. To our left, I see a tweaked out woman and man talking to each other hurriedly and pointing at our car. My alarms were going off, but I didn't want to make a big deal out of something that could be unimportant. Well, the man takes off, and the woman starts coming straight towards our car. I immediately yell to Lena, "She's coming," and Liz looks up and goes, "Mom, we have to go." Lena's oblivious until Marie also chimes in about it. The woman is about 10 feet from our car. Lena goes, "Oh shit," and starts going in reverse. The woman yells, "I just need some help," and Lena says, "Sorry, I can't help you." We speed out and I look over, and the man and woman are running across the 4-lane road into the woods. Sure, she totally just wanted some help. We were sure that we were about to get mugged and robbed, but thankfully we didn't. So, creepy tweaker and her boyfriend, let's not meet ever again.